Well, hello everybody. We're doing things differently today, aren't we, Cam?
We are.
Yeah, we are. So that's a little bit better, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're testing some new waters, and this is Reverend Jodi Susan, and with Self Care, the dynamic podcast that teaches you how to be different than what you were taught. Reframe.
That's it.
Maybe it should be
Redo.
the Reframe podcast, right?
That's nice.
Yeah. So I'm going to introduce myself, and then Cam's going to introduce herself, right?
Mhm.
And so I am Jodi Susan, and an ordained minister, not because I studied a bunch of theology, but because I studied just really divine intervention, spontaneous remission. And I'm here to help people reframe what they've learned, when they were children, because most of that stuff doesn't serve you and allows you to co-create with the universe the best version of yourself. Okay, and that Susan Essentials. And while Cam is sharing about her gifts, okay, um, I'm going to create a banner so that you guys know how to get in touch with us. And Cam, I'll have to get your number in
Yeah,
there. But
we'll get
yeah,
that
so
in.
we're kind of like, we're just flying by the seat of our pants here today. Go. Yeah.
And hi, everybody. My name is Ms. Cameron T. Crutcher. I am a light worker, a channeler for the dead and alive, and just a lover of all things. Um, yeah, I'm here to shine light on things that need light shining on. Here to share my gifts with the world, give clarity to a lot of people that do not have clarity. I do energy work as well. I am a Reiki master. And yeah, that's me and a little bitty bunch. But I have so many more things.
Well, and that's just it, right? Like, so I'm going to let you put in your contact information there. You know, we're not here to sell you on credentials because we both have so many credentials. The thing is what I know is that if you come to see Cam or if you come to see me, it's because the universe brought us together so we have what you need.
Yeah.
Right. And I think Cam is the same way as I am, is that we connect people to who they need if whatever our time together has expired or taken a pause. So anyway, so we are here to talk about why God always answers prayers. And I do believe that. And I think that all of us at some point in time second guess it.
Absolutely. 10,000% and are confused and are on our knees trying to figure out what in the world is going on and why is he not answering, and or why are my angels not answering, why are whoever I pray to, why are they not listening, and why has this thing not showed up,
or why did they lie?
Right.
I mean, because that's like the big one for me. I'm like, because let's say they were gonna say, okay, you're gonna experience, this thing, like this big thing, whatever it is, fill in the blank, right? Well, they're not really lying. They're just giving you about divine timing.
Right. Or it was whatever was in your mind, and that's going to be completely different completely different than how they're going to play it out. So you may ask for children. I asked for children. I told God, but if I'm 25 and I don't have kids, I'm going to go to the sperm bank and I'm going to be just married to myself and I'm going to have my kids. And I always said it with an S. And then I fly to Dubai. I lived there for almost a year, 9 months in, 9 months out. I get pregnant at month 4, and then I have to leave.
So that they're born here in the United States.
And so that they're born here in the United States. So thank God for my sperm donation, which I got. And I said that when I was 15 years old. I had my children's name picked out. I mean, the whole thing. And not to mention, I had a set of twins. So it wasn't just oh, here's one thing. Here's all of these things here at once that you asked for. And I was 27. I wasn't 25. So I needed just a little bit more time to be where I needed to be in the comfort of not even to be where I needed to be and to be where God called me to be, so that the angels could respond how they needed to respond and help me. And here they are now, 7 years old, living and thriving.
Yeah, and I was people can't see that I was shoving my coffee cup in Cam's face, which says faith in God includes faith in his timing. Mm-hmm. So it's like if we could give one message, right? Your timing ain't his timing
at all.
No,
never. Never. And even when people come to me for readings, and that's normally the first question, oh, well, how long is it going to be when I get married? How long is it going to be when I find this man? How long is it going to be for me to get this job? And it's like, I'll give you a time span, but that time span is not necessarily going to be concrete. So don't go look to your readers and asking your readers, hey, I need to know in 6 months if this is going to happen, because it might happen, but it may happen completely differently.
Okay.
Or
yeah, I don't know. So let's talk about that, because I always had this quote that came to me, mm-hmm. and it was, prayer mm-hmm. without action is still inaction.
Completely.
Right? And so if you're not willing mm-hmm. to take action steps, do the manifestation, write it down, post it places, think it through, because mm-hmm. your brain, brain health professional, right? And neuro-linguistic programming, quantum energy. So your brain is so powerful, right? And so mm-hmm. you can send a signal to the universe to bring in whatever it is that you need.
Because thoughts become things, for lack of better words. So every thought, everything that you're writing down when you go to bed and you're thinking about 10,000 things at night, what could happen, what would happen, what should happen, you're jumbling all those things up in the manifestation that you want to happen in 6 months. And God and the angels are like, whoa.
Well, and you're reading my mind, right? So when we are unclear mm-hmm. about our vision,
that one thing, mm-hmm. or so, maybe two, but that one thing, but we can't have 50 things. Go ahead.
But it's it. If you're unclear about your vision, so are
yep.
they.
Yep. So
which means instead of creating this manifestation that you think that you want, you got this spaghetti or scrambled eggs or what have you.
Macaroni and cheese
with lots of extra cheese, and it's stringy.
Right. And it's a mess, and then it's going to be hard to digest once you do get it.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Well, and actually, so this is really good because, okay, so I'm going to segue for a second.
Go ahead.
So here's my book, right? Emotional Healing, Toxic Free Living, and it's Model New Behaviors and Reset Old Belief Systems. It is available on Amazon. So I want to say something. I went through too many people publishing this book, and these were graphic artists. Why did that happen? Well, because I had a vision, and I was hiring people who were not connected to source.
That same vision.
Didn't have same vision. And so every time somebody touched my book, they made scrambled eggs out of it.
Yep.
So then God said, well, if you want to do a book, and I channeled the book, right? So like, get somebody who's connected to goodness.
Right.
Like, okay.
And then boom, it works.
And then it worked, and it went well. Mm-hmm. Like, he listened. He was an active listener, this man. He did exactly what we needed.
And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it, because her focus was where it needed to be, and the angels could focus, and they can say, oh, well, since you're not asking for 50 gifts at one time, I can certainly give you this one big gift that's going to be grand. And then hold on. And then they go in their little toolbox and they be like, oh, here's this. And then they pat on the other angels back and say, hey, go ahead and give them that too, because I just gave her those great 2 gifts, and now she's ready for that thing that you got, Gabriel. Go ahead.
Right. And they gave me 320 gifts, right?
See?
Which is 320 pages. It's a long book. So And I think that what you're saying here is really huge. Like, it's like you said, well, you're not asking for too many gifts.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to focus not necessarily on the one thing, but if we're scattered in what we are trying to achieve, the universe is going to conspire to make that happen. Right? Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Right. They're conspiring to make it happen, but we want it to be in divine timing, not in the angels just throwing things at you left and right, if you will, and then God comes in and gives you the whole kaplunk, and you don't know what to do with it. You don't know how to act upon it. So it's going to take time for each angel or each ancestor, each whoever you pray to. I have Buddha around my neck today because I needed some peace, and I got a tree going on here.
So let me tell you about your tree.
Tell me about my tree.
So it was 2016. And, I was learning about essential oils. And all the oilers had that tree.
Interesting.
So I was disabled at the time. And so buying anything was not an option, except for oils or something that was going to heal me, right? And one of the contributing authors of the book, her name is Robin Wheeler. She wrote about intention. I don't know where hers is. So, it would be before the word thank you because it's in alpha order. So I don't know. So Robin Wheeler, I met her when I was working for Cairo One Wellness Centers in Illinois. And ironically, she's a Black woman with blonde hair.
That's funny.
Just picked that up now. And she's very, very tall. And she's very commanding in her presence without speaking. Doesn't have to speak a word.
Not a word. Walks in the room and everybody's like...
And she walked in, I'm like, I want to be your best friend. Like, that's how that was.
Yeah.
Right? So, such a divine child of God. And I started at that company in March. And December came. And at that time, I think I just converted to Christianity. So I'm like celebrating my first Christmas, right?
Because you were Jewish.
I was Jewish,
okay.
Right? And we're leaving the office. And she goes, hey, you, how are you? Can't even do it right? How are you? Because she's really cute.
Illinois voice.
There's her good Illinois voice, right? And but she also has this energy in it that I can't replicate. That's beautiful. And she goes, I have a present for you. She came to me with that.
And she gave you a Buddha and a tree.
Not the Buddha, but the tree.
I love it.
And I just sat there kind of like dumbfounded because I'm like, I was manifesting it, but I didn't have the money, and I'd only been working a few months. Yeah.
Well, if anybody, this may be a token for you, a sign for you.
And the Buddha is beautiful, by the way.
Yes, and God always gives signs. Buddha always gives signs. Some of you guys need some peace out there, some love out there, and boom, here it is for us to share.
Yeah, and what happens when, like, you know that this morning life threw me several curveballs? So I know what I do. What do you do to bring the peace back so God can help you move forward on your prayers and answer your prayers? Because if we're in a state of chaos, let me just put this into context. If we're in a state of chaos, prayer answering is not like, it's a little bit more difficult.
It's not like this.
Yeah, right.
It's not that.
Right. So what do you do?
What do I do? Depends on the day. So I'll give y'all like my top 3. I'm a bather.
All day.
Love water. Whether that be the sea. So I actually just took a trip and I manifested it. Y'all, I didn't have any money in my bank account at the top of the year. And then I went on like a $3,000 trip by myself to go see my friend get his white coat from med school because I had to go see that.
Yeah.
Period. So, and I needed the time to just be with myself. So take a trip. If you can't take a trip to your local backyard because it has plenty of things to see and do. And if you're like, oh my gosh, bugs, because I know some of my friends are like that, we'll bathe in the house. So I run me a nice hot bath.
Wait. When you say go in the backyard, do you mean like into the stream or a lake or something, or just sit on the grass?
It can be just grounding in the grass.
Okay, and sunbathing maybe.
Oh my gosh, sunbathing. I sunbathe every day, y'all. I am a Black girl that is in the sun all the time.
I was telling my friend Naima Latif, who's a publisher of the book, beautiful Black woman, very, very tall, probably taller than you and I combined. And so I was out in the sun all day, and I said, Naima, I said, I'm just a few shades lighter than you now.
No, you've gotten a good tan, and you have some good Native American in you too. Like
I do.
I see it all day.
But I've also lost it already. Like I
no, you haven't. Your chest is all brown. Anywho, so I sunbathe every morning, every single morning, with my journal and my coffee and my dog. So I live on a very, very busy street. And the cars go by from 30 miles an hour to 95 miles an hour. And guess what I do? I imagine that they are waves. Okay. The little cars are like the little waves that come up on the shore. And then sometimes I'll get a big semi and I'm like, tsunami. Right. And I'm just out there in my own little self with my dog, with my journal, with my coffee. The girls are gone to school and I'm just taking in the sun. And sometimes I get so high, just like this, the light just coming from the sky into me, into my soul, and then back up. And I'm just out there. I mean, eyes crossed, like my dog is out there, like, oh, light codes.
Wait, how does a dog go?
Oh. I'll put a picture up for that. Candy sunbathes all the time. And yeah, it's amazing. So water rituals, making sure you use your essential oils, use some sage or some Palo Santo, and cleanse your bath before you actually get in it.
Can I give a recipe for the bath?
Yes.
So I have 2 recipes.
Okay.
There's like one, you can do it one way or the other, but they're stacked. Okay. I'm like a people always use the upside down. People always use the terminology biohacking, but I'm a biostacker.
Right.
Okay. So the first thing, filtered water.
Yes.
Filter your bath water. If you need to know how to do that, I have those here, but that's not this show. Secondly, of course, add oils.
Add oils.
Right.
Period. Yeah.
Pick your favorite.
Yeah. That's what I was about to say is getting those essential oils going. Vanessa,
what's your favorite?
I am lavender queen, honey.
Yeah, lavender and frankincense is what I like to put in there.
I like, again, depending on how I'm feeling. I'm an earth sign and an air sign. So
what are you?
I'm a Capricorn sun.
Oh, that's right.
Aquarius moon and a Libra ascendant.
Yeah, and I'm a Libra sun.
Libra sun.
Sag rising. A Venus moon or something? I don't know. No, Scorpio moon.
And a Scorpio moon. So that's your death and your rebirth all day.
Yeah, I know. So I'm psychic surgeon.
She's death and rebirthing every day, y'all.
Yeah, I'm a psychic surgeon.
Yeah,
that's why. So now, have you ever put baking soda in your bath water?
Not recently. I remember when I had a body. I don't remember what was going on. I do have seborrheic dermatitis, and you were talking about the saunas on yesterday's show, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Which I did today.
Yes.
Again.
I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get into it because for the past 2 weeks, I've been stressed out. We've had competition. We've had just all sorts of things, performances going on. And so my dermatitis has flared up. So, that's a thing. I don't remember where I was going with that.
Well, so I asked you if you put baking soda in your water.
Baking soda, yeah. No, tell me what that does, though.
So it makes the water very alkaline.
Okay.
Now, I've also put hydrogen peroxide in there because you want to have those hydrogen. It's very healing.
Okay.
I actually I want to get a device that gives me a hydrogen bath.
That's cool.
Yeah, but we're waiting on that because it's expensive.
And salt. Don't forget your Epsom salt.
Yep, absolutely.
Must have Epsom
Must
salt.
have. But
even if you don't, take your salt lamp and sit it next to your bathtub.
Yeah. Or I'd use Celtic sea salt in there. I use Himalayan sea salt.
Exactly.
But here,
Selenite sticks.
Yeah, all day. Because water will carry energy. Mm-hmm. So let's make sure it's clean energy, and the selenite's a happy stick.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But going back to the secret sauce, there's 2 other secret sauces. That's your baseline. Everyone should do what we just said.
Right. So baking soda was yours.
Well, we said baking soda, sea salts, hydrogen peroxide, the essential oils of your choosing. Interestingly enough, I work with a company that sells paramagnetic rare earth minerals in the very powdered form, and we use them to neutralize electrosmog. Okay. They come in forms of plugs for the car, plugs for the house, pillows, pendants, like all of that. But they also just sell the powder. And God came to me and said, put it in your bath water.
That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's game changer.
Okay.
Because now you have these minerals that we know neutralizes electromagnetic frequencies that are seeping into your body. Thank you,
and get it out.
Right?
And
there's one more, by the way.
Let's pause right there, because a lot of these things you're thinking like, oh my gosh, okay, I may or may not have these things around the house, and are they even gonna work? Right? And do you feel even different when you get out of the sauna? Or do you even feel different after you take this bath?
That's a good question. And how does it connect us to God?
Got anything on that?
Oh, I got it all, but I'm going to let you, if you want me to,
you can start.
Okay, so I'm going to let you go with how it makes you feel. Well, no, I will. I'll. So it grounds you, right? When you're connecting with minerals and salts. See, it's been spiritual warfare, okay? And when our community, the earth, the trees, the animals, the people, were exposed to glyphosate, it was literally pulling minerals, out of your body the way it was meant to do for pipes, to decalcify pipes. Right? And that was my download. It was
decalcifying pipes. Meanwhile, let's take a look at everybody's grandma in the past 50 years. Mm-hmm. Or let's just take a look at me, and I am 34 years old, and I need to be put on a calcium pill. Why?
Well, so, but you don't want to just take calcium.
Exactly. No.
Right? So I take trace minerals every day, a ton of magnesium, twice a day. And this is very interesting. Bear with me here for a minute. Mm-hmm. Okay. So by upping these minerals, it allows you to connect to God, keeps you grounded with the earth.
Who made the minerals?
God.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just
right.
Who made the opioids? Okay, we'll wait.
Well, I mean, it came from God, but it made isn't it opiate? That's a plant, isn't it? The opiate. It's the opium plant.
But yeah, when so many manipulations have gotten into it, and it's been used for so many negative things.
Right. And so here's the thing. By the way, this show has just now moved to this is for entertainment purposes only. And let me go to that banner that I have. I never saved this. Here we go. So we're going to show that. Yeah. So, okay. So this show is for entertainment purposes only. And there you go. So everything came from God, right? And then man adulterated it. Mm-hmm. And, I am certain that there is a real reason that he has that plant. However, we chose as a community to do something that was not in alignment with our highest good.
Because man has free will.
Because man has free will, and their souls can get fractured. And a lot of people who have, fractured souls are mineral deficient, right? So we just have to choose differently. And if you can keep your nutrition clean and minerals clean and know how you're sourcing all those things. I have a friend of mine who was telling me she was getting, I think it was like algae or sea moss. And they showed me the, which is really good for sickle cell, right? However, if the sea moss is not tested for mercury, it's a problem.
Interesting. Now, when I just came from the islands, they're literally at night going and getting the sea moss every single night. Like, that is a job.
Right, but the problem with the job is not the job.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the people who got there beforehand, who dumped all this stuff into our beautiful environment. And so connecting to God is holding your body as sacred space, treating your body as a temple. Because trust me, even if you are treating your body as a temple, which I have done now since 2014, when I figured that out, so 11 years, there's plenty to get into the way to stop you anyway.
Including yourself.
Well, including yourself, but really, let's say I'm stringent. Like, really, it doesn't even faze me. Like, something's toxic, I know it. I get pinged up. I'd rather starve than suffer.
But we can even go into that with toxic thoughts, and how, just like you said the other day, like, hey, I realized and I recognized that I was in this place, and I cut.
Oh, yeah. So why don't we talk about that? So we're not going to tell the story, but I am human. I'm in human form, and I was having a bad day, and I was crying, and I couldn't stop. And I'm like, first of all, that's not like me. So I recognized that there was a new pattern, and I also recognized it was an old pattern. So then I changed my light codes, and it's second that I changed my light codes, the crying stopped on instant case. And then I was back in the right timeline, the right dimension with the right codes.
And when I spoke to her the other day, y'all, she was here, but she wasn't quite here. And today she's much more here. And it's cool to see in real time. And you'll notice it with your friends and with yourself. So let's go back to then the way you feel. You may not necessarily get out the bathtub feeling like you want to do 10 cartwheels down the hall,
and actually I would hope not.
I would hope not.
I just
unless you're my kids, right?
Yeah, but I'm just like to feel in your body present.
Right. But like, we're telling them to do all these things, and then sometimes people form an expectation of what it should be after, so again, like Reverend Jodi said, grounded. What does grounding feel like? That feels like my mind is not racing anymore. That feels like I'm not having heart palpitations anymore.
I'm not worrying.
I'm not worrying. I'm not.
Do you know worrying? Can we pause on that one for a minute? Worrying will kill you.
It will kill you. Anxiety will kill you. And anxiety is a form of worry, and vice versa.
So I just popped myself in the sauna this afternoon, and that's what you said you're on your way over. I'm like, I gotta take a shower, because I'm like dripping, right?
Right.
Because I took a phone call from this dynamic woman, that will be discussed offline, and who shares my mission, but she does it differently. So we were all collaborating, of course, and she called just as I was getting into the sauna. So 25 minutes is a long time for me, and the longest I've ever been in the sauna.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, first of all, I'm dripping. Second of all, I got a podcast. Third of all, I got to take a shower before I get on that podcast. I got to do that now.
Right. And before, she was probably thinking 40 other thoughts before that.
Before the sauna.
Before the sauna.
Well, exactly. Yeah, because the ball kept dropping from the moment I got up this morning. And so
anybody else?
Yeah, anybody else, right? So when the ball drops, and not if the ball drops, I said when the ball drops.
Because it must drop, because it has to bounce back up, right?
Right. And that was a what?
That was a good one.
Yeah. I thought so.
The ball must drop so it can bounce back up.
Well, or the door must close so God can open up a new door. And look, people, I've had a lot of door closings for the last year and a half and a lot of ball drops so it can bounce back up. And I'm like, can we just have a do-over? You know, because I just don't want to, I just need some.
2025, that's the year.
Of a do-over?
Of just throwing the baby out with the bathwater and doing it again. Sorry, y'all, for some of y'all that don't want to do that, but it is in a lot of ways. And that can be you spiritually, that can be you mentally. Some of us need to go there mentally and throw all the shit out and come back with the new light codes and go to a channeler and like me, or, you know, go to someone that can help you just redefine. Yes, Reverend Jodi, realign yourself to yourself. You know, these baths, they work great. Going out and getting your light codes and all those things, they work great, but it does take the mental capacity to just dial it down and back.
Right. And so and that means, so what I've had my lesson, the practice is, Jodi, just learn how to breathe through the plot twists. You know, because you have to remember, not you, because you know.
I'm a
you do though.
Yes. I do have a degree in vocal education, so my body is my instrument. My body has always been my instrument, and breathing is the only way that I can get through every day, and the only way any of us can, but breathing correctly. But we'll talk about that on another day.
We should do another one, another show on that. We'll do another show on breath work where we just do like a 10-minute show on breath, and we'll show people how to do it and be done. And then I have another friend who wants to do it, so we'll have different people showing people just short 10-minute videos on how to do breath work. And with the way that you do it and they do it and everyone does it is different.
It's different, right? So,
right.
And yeah,
so there's no right or wrong.
No. And just like,
well, as long as you like let the air out,
whether that be your behind or your mouth, let it out. And that does happen when you're doing a lot of good breath work.
Tell them why.
Flatulence.
Why?
Because you're breathing in the light. You're breathing in fresh oxygen. You're invigorating your cells. So then it must come out somewhere. I've had times where even I've gotten nauseous and I've thrown up.
I usually pass out because it makes me so dizzy. I'm like, I can't do breath work online because I'm going to have to pass out and I got to run the keys.
Exactly. But yeah, it's releasing those toxins out of the body, and it may even smell completely different than what it did before you did your breath work.
So can I give the other description on that?
Please.
When we release energy, it's earth, wind, fire, rain. So you're going to release something. So it could be, you were so nice about it, flatulence. You could fart. You know, passing gas, right? You could burp. You could hiccup.
Your ears may get clogged and you may have to really clean your ears out later on.
You may take a big dump.
Yeah.
That's earth.
Yeah. And you need those things.
Yeah, right.
And all of these things are normal. That's like why we're here to tell you all these things. And those are the angels giving you the signals that it worked. Because you're like, oh my gosh, I just took this whole bath and now I need to go take a dump. Yes, you do. And wash your behind one more time after you go put those clothes on.
Well, forgive me, but do we really need to tell them that?
No, seriously. No, you do. Because I mean, like,
no, but I mean, don't they know people? Don't people know you need to? Of course, you need to clean your tushy.
They just got out the bathtub though, so some people think it's okay. Because you just got out of the bath, or you just did. No. Anything. You just did your healing, and then you're sneezing, and 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 you're like, what?
And what is sneezing besides air? What are they releasing? Rain, especially if you get that runny nose, or you're crying, that's
Mhm.
rain. By the way, there's actually hormones in those tears.
Mhm.
Who told me that? Was it you or someone else? I've been talking to so many people this week. It's crazy. So if you cry, they said take the tears
and eat them.
Mm-hmm.
Eat your tears.
because it's actually healing because there's a hormone in there.
All right. So,
And now I don't have evidence of that.
So people be like,
I have evidence that there's a hormone, right? I don't have evidence that if you eat them, it balances you out. My doctor friend said so,
Well,
and
look-
I do believe him. But again, you know, the show's for entertainment purposes only.
yeah. But needless to say, the angels are giving you all these signals from your body after these things happen. And again, after you are asking for these visions and dreams and goals to come true, again, it's not going to be a full dump. But it's
Right, because here's the thing,
pieces.
you can't handle it all.
Can't handle the dump.
Yeah, you can't handle all of it anyway. So you have to do it at a pace that allows you to live with ease and grace.
Right. And you were already confused about the bath that you took.
That's so funny.
So
Did you just imprint them? She imprinted you with confusion after bath work. Just saying.
So then, you know, the next day you're like, oh man, I found this feather on the ground and that was cool. And it's like, oh yeah, by the way, your angels are giving you this gift. Or
well, okay. It's funny that you said that.
Go ahead.
So I have a bunch of feathers upstairs that you may have seen, but the one you did not see,
okay,
I was at a place where there was a white bald eagle, and they left me a feather. Now, I guess it's illegal to have their feathers, so I didn't really keep it.
She just told the world what she's talking about me.
Just joking. So I didn't keep the feather. But my brother, what's that?
The birds was like, you lying.
They, of course I'm lying. And so, really? So when my brother died, my brother Stephen, first of all, his favorite bird was the bald eagle. And I was in Pentwater, Michigan on that day. And I'd never seen a bald eagle in my life. And here's this bald eagle flying around the cottage nonstop, just our house. So listen to the signals, right? Because it was a signal from the universe, and I was so excited to go see those bald eagles. I got
a good one.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So last week it can be that grand, or it can be in the mornings after I drop off my kids before my sunbathing. I will sit in my car and listen to tarot. So I'm sitting in my car and literally all the little pigeons come because I'm sitting in a parking lot. And so I'm like having negative thoughts, if you will, about
I call those thought viruses.
Right. About my thoughts and paths of where I'm going. So boom, what comes on the radio? Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish, right?
Flock together.
Birds of a feather.
Okay, this is a little weird.
All the birds come and fly, and then like they take their little friends and they're like in this little line. And I was like, I just gotta stick with it. It can be things that small. Go ahead. Or is that big?
That's crazy. No, wait till you hear what I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
So I get that message all the time, birds of a feather flock together. And the first time was on December 5th, which is my father's birthday. And so I was a little numb or ignorant to the message. So outside my house, I've got these big trees. And I mean, hundreds and hundreds of crows were sitting in the trees. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. I take a snapshot, right? Yeah. And by the way, I was contemplating going to the Redefining Medicine Conference, which was on the 15th.
Right.
So on December 10th, 5 days later, all those crows land on my lawn.
The lawn is black.
I have pictures.
Wow.
Right? And then they're like, birds of a feather flock together. I'm like, are you trying to get me to go to the conference? And like, finally, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's interesting that as we get to know each other, that we get very similar signals and messages.
And we've only been knowing each other for like 6 months, guys. We met each other last October when she came to one of my moon circles. And my partner and I are hosting another moon circle this Saturday.
Yes.
Under this Libra pink
Mm-hmm.
full moon.
It's a pink full moon?
It's a pink full
moon. So this is a big
pink.
thing for Libras too.
It is.
You want to talk about that?
It is.
Okay.
Because it is a continual balancing act for whether you're a sun, moon, rising, whatever stelliums you have in the Libra house. So last October, think about last October, everybody.
It was a shit show.
It was everyone was confused. I mean, it was worse than what it is now. Okay.
Was it Jupiter or Pluto that went retrograde in October?
In October?
So it was October 9th. I can look it up, but that's what started to spearhead this, because I started looking it up because I'm like, they go, well, check back.
It was Mercury retrograde.
We did have that, but there was also
there were several.
All of the planets have been retrograde hyphen T show.
Right. And now they're starting to finally go
and I'm looking
forward.
It up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And mind you, no planet actually goes retrograde, goes backwards, but whatever. So
same thing.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Going forward. So then for me, I was confused about my relationship. I was confused about where I'm going, what I'm doing, and how this is going to work. Money.
Okay, so it is Jupiter. Now Jupiter is a planet of expansion.
Yes, exactly.
So things are slowing down.
Exactly.
Okay, because
they're slowing down, but they're expanding even more beautifully because they're in Pisces now.
Well, because it gives you when the planet of expansion slows down, and you tell me if you understand it differently, it allows you to think through your expansion vision.
Okay, like we were talking. Okay, it does allow you to catch up. It does allow you to catch up. I'm a Leo Jupiter, so I'm straight fire when it comes to all that and speaking and all of that. But
okay,
anyway,
wait 1 second. And Venus entered Sag on October 17th, the day before my birthday. And you know what happened then. And I'm a Sag rising. No wonder
that was the full moon in Aries. Yeah. So it was, again, what am I doing with myself? How does this look for me going forward? Blah, blah, blah. Here we are 6 months later. And now it's God. God said, the angel said, here's those things that you asked for in October. I've gotten them. I know you've gotten them too. Now, what the hell are you going to do with them?
Well, and that's where I'm at, because in October I was asking for the book, right? So if anybody's listening to this and you want me to have a book signing, or we have a book party or whatever, call me. Because I published it. That's what was, my big thing in October. It published March 11th. And now I'm like, okay, now what?
Right. Because now things are going forward, but that's perfect, because by summer, by June, we'll really have the clarity.
Yeah. 369.
Yeah. 369. Exactly. So yeah, right now we're really just playing a balancing act, getting our emotions, ourselves in line, because it is Aries season, so that we can move forward properly with the gifts that we've been given.
Yeah, it's divine timing. So exactly. Here's the thing. So I could step into a negative thought form. Oh, I published the book, and 1 second, there we go. I published the book, and now what do I do, or whatever. But the thing is, there's so many pieces to put together that go with the book.
Exactly. Because now, you do need to do book signings, and you do need to just rest because it's done.
So I absolutely needed to rest.
Right, this is the time of gratitude, right? You get everything that you want, and that
and I get to read the book.
Right. And you get to see the fruits of your labor and see the things bloom, because that's what spring is about.
Yeah. My other manifestation was to have a 4-day work week. You understand?
Oh,
so God's like
that. I asked for that 2-3 years ago, and I got it. And I got 4-day work weeks that were 12 hours long. And I was like, oh, this is great. By last year, I was like, oh, this is a joke.
Well, I don't even want that long of a but the point is that I've been manifesting that I was supposed to be bat mitzvahed in 2013.
Okay.
And I would have been 53. And that's when Jesus showed up. So interesting, his timing.
That's when Jesus showed up and
to save my life.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, literally saved my life.
Save your life from Judaism.
Not from Judaism.
Okay.
Just saved my life from myself.
Okay.
And by the way, if you're Jewish and listening to this, you're perfect as you are. Yes. I
love y'all.
Right. This is, so let me tell you something about religion and politics and all of that. Find what suits you.
Yeah.
You don't have to please me and I don't have to please you. Mm-hmm. And you get to have a choice in the matter. Mm-hmm. And because I chose Christianity over Judaism because that works for me, doesn't mean it's supposed to work for you, nor does it mean that I have the expectation that it should work for you and that you should do what I do. And one of the reasons that I converted to Christianity is because, by the way, someone tried to convert me to Christianity as an 11-year-old. This is in the book, right? Or 12-year-old, by shaming and blaming me.
Sounds about normal.
Right. And it didn't work.
Good.
Right. And they said I was going to go to hell.
Of course.
And I said, well, and I'm 11, right? And I said to them, and I looked at them, and I remember scratching my head, and I go, well, I'm Jewish. I don't believe, and I don't know this for sure at 11, but I'm like, I don't really think we believe in hell.
I don't think Jews believe in hell.
I don't think so. And I said, so I don't think I'm going there.
Because I've never been there before. No one ever told me about it.
That's my response as an 11-year-old. I'm like, I don't really think I'm going there because we don't believe in it. So there's no path. Then who knew that hell was a place on earth?
Oh.
Right?
I've been living in it this whole time.
Yeah.
I thought it was something foreign but normal.
Mm-hmm. So, but the point is that, I'm not, just because I chose that, I'm not judging anybody who chooses differently. And I think that Jesus comes in so many different forms anyway. Mm-hmm. Jesus is not Jesus. Jesus is love. Jesus is your inner light. Mm. And I found that in that community. So I was being kicked out of my apartment.
Okay.
The landlord wasn't paying the rent. I got a download. By the way, that's how I figured out it was an intuitive. The Sunday before, or the day before, was a Sunday night, I got a download that the 4-unit building was going on the auction block the next morning. Because they're telling me I should move. I'm like, but I'm disabled. Why am I moving? I'm like, I don't have any money, right? And so, I forget where we were going with. So it was through that experience and needing help from my community. Mm-hmm. They did not show up for me, and then the church said that they would help me. I said, I'm Jewish, right? They go, we don't care. And so I'm like, oh, now did that make me convert to Christianity? No. Not immediately. It's about the consistent way of being, of accepting someone exactly as they are, without judgment, and yes, I believe in a fair exchange. Are we okay up there? Okay. So I believe in a fair exchange, but sometimes people just can't do for you, mm-hmm. And so we just have to do for them and love them and know that the universe will bring back to you what you need, and the universe will take care of that person. You're part of that team that's taking care of that person. Yep. So that's that.
I had something on that. I don't remember what I was going to say. But, and even honoring yourselves in the moments where things just seem like there will be never any honor. Your angels and your ancestors and God is always honoring you every single waking moment of the day. And so remembering that, and remembering that their divinity and that their love is unwavering. It's so unwavering.
So you are a divine child of God, and you are very, very strong. And I want to tell you that I agree with you, but I also disagree with you. Okay. When I didn't have boundaries, mm-hmm. spiritual boundaries or physical boundaries, mm-hmm. I had spirits, my ancestors, that popped into my body unannounced. Okay. I mean, I would just pee myself. And so I created boundaries really fast.
Okay.
So what I want to say is, if you don't have boundaries, right, like between the people that you're interacting with, your ancestors, yeah, they think that they're doing good for you. Their intentions, there's no question in my mind. I know my daddy popped into my body. Do I know that he had good intentions? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Were they good? No. Was the outcome good? It was not good. So, well, it was good, actually. The good thing was I learned about boundaries. And so he can come to me, he can help me, and he can support me. But I gave him feedback on how I want to be interacted with, which is something we need to do in a 3D level and we need to do in a 5D level.
And that's a different show.
All day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so,
but I just brought it up because you said they're always doing, they sometimes are learning also. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but I just had a yes and to that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And a person like me can help you through that.
And so, we both can.
And those channelings, if you will. But my whole point was honoring yourself.
Thank you.
That was my whole point.
Because you do. You need to.
The more that you honor yourself, I do feel like, I mean, whether, albeit not your ancestors, God is still going to honor you, and
all day,
and your angels are still honoring you.
Yes.
So that was,
and I'm with you on that 150%. Mm-hmm. But I had that experience many times, and I learned that I had poor boundaries.
Right. And we'll talk about boundaries, because you do have to set up boundaries for them and yourself. And what that looks like is, again, a facet of things, setting up those boundaries.
Yeah, so. That's awesome. Yeah. So, how can people get in touch with you?
You guys can get in touch with me. My Instagram is at Ms. Kameron T, or at Royals Light, and everything is always with a Z. So
yeah, I was gonna say the Ms. I made that hiccup. Yes, so it's not MS, it's MZ.
I think it's on there.
It is, but I had to do it. I had a do over. Because yes, like so I want to just bring it out. Like it's MZ, people. MZ period.
Always. And Kameron with a K.
With a K.
Spelled the regular way. Mm-hmm. Also, Facebook is the same. Ms. Kameron T. Crutcher. Last name is Crutcher with a C. I'll give y'all my number just in case you want to reach out, send a text message. I do have a booking links as well. Wherever you go on those platforms, you will be able to find those booking links so that we can schedule you a reading, a channeling, vent session with your ancestors and guides, and also come to Moon Circle on this Saturday. I don't remember what else I was about to say, but
I'll get my information as well. So it's also scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Mm-hmm. Reverend Jodi Susan, and my phone number is 847-738-0242. You can text me for whatever you need. Yes, I do readings and things, and I access the consciousness, the Christ consciousness, to hear what you can't hear, help you modify patterns so you can live the best life that you're, And, and here's the thing, if you're called to call Cam, do that. If you're called to call me, do that. We do not compete because the universe already has the whole design figured out. And the birds are a little squawky up there, so we're going to end this show because there's something going on that we need to address. So they're a little scared. So anything else before we end? Or
that's it. I love you all. Thank you all for being here. Be blessed, be safe, and the angels and God are with you.
Yes, they are.